The following was recorded in front of a live studio audience at the Studio 21 Podcast Café. This is the United Podcast Network.
Welcome to Dueling Comedians, where two comedians clash to see whose comedy kills and who gets killed.
Figuratively speaking, of course.
All this to determine who claims the coveted Dueling Comedians trophy. This is Dueling Comedians.
That uncomfortable feeling you have in your shorts right now, it means that only one thing, that Dueling Comedians is back on the airwaves. I don't know if it's an airwave or over your computer or your Fios line or however the hell it gets into your head, but it's there, right? Isn't that right, Larry?
Yeah, it's everywhere.
That's my pal, Laugh Track Larry, the glue that holds this show together. This is Dueling Comedians. As I mentioned, you're on the Studio 21 Podcast Network, and we have a great duel. I'm going to introduce you to my guest right now. To my right, your left, or in the middle of your speaker, is an old-time friend of mine and good guy, funny man, Jim Colliton.
Thank you, Tony. Very nice to be here.
It's lovely to have you. And to my other side is Kenny Capozzi, who we don't know each other all that well.
No, but I appreciate you having me out here.
Oh, it's my pleasure. With this, this is this show was meant to get everybody together as a comedy community, and then do something that will immediately piss them off. So
bringing people together to piss
right,
people off.
Right. That's right. That's and let's face it, that's what all good comedy is: bringing a group of people together and pissing off about a third of them. Right,
walking a third of them.
Right. That's how you know.
Someone.
That's how you know if you're doing a good job.
Writing a blog about it.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And then shitting on the people who didn't like it.
Yeah,
that's the way it works. So you guys know how it works. We'll get to the duel later, but this is the part of the show where we get to know you a little bit. So since I know a lot about Jim, and we can talk forever about how long we've known each other and things we do, I don't know much about you. How long have you been doing stand-up, Ken?
Going into my fifth, I think. 2015 I started in September, so
and
4 years in.
About 4 years in. And where do you hail from?
I live down in Brockton. I'm from East Boston originally, like where these guys started. On Meridian Street and shit.
Yeah. That's
Two Guy Smoke Shop.
Two Guy Smoke Shop started there. And David Garofalo, who owns this place, has gotten chased out of every city he could in Massachusetts. That's why he's hiding up here in New Hampshire.
Yeah, it makes sense. They just did the vape ban down there. You know?
Oh, yeah, they banned vaping.
Yeah.
Right, of all the things.
We have casinos, we can buy booze
Scratch
and
tickets,
pot, but vaping, we got to shut that down.
I can't even imagine the people that are like invested in having these businesses where they pay, rent and shit.
Oh, yeah, they're all going belly up and stuff. Oddly enough, it's not against the law to suck on a tailpipe.
but vaping.
But vaping is the thing that's gonna do you in.
Have you tried it though? How do you know? That it's. If you go out to this parking lot right now and just start sucking on someone's tailpipe, how do you know you're not going to call the fine police? And
we don't know.
Tony, you really can't do that.
Maybe that would be one of the sidelights of this show. Is we could just invent stuff for them to ban.
Was that like assisted suicide?
Maybe that's it. Maybe you can't put a hose directly into your car, but you can suck on a tailpipe.
Just until it gets hot enough that it burns your lips.
Yeah.
And if you don't want to kill yourself, you do it like a hybrid. You're like, I'm going to just hit a hybrid for a couple times.
Sure.
Just get a quick free one.
Sure. We'll go back to Massachusetts and, we'll decide that, hey, let's keep chickens. And they'll go, no, you can't keep chickens. No. We'll just bring up a bunch of shit that they can ban for us.
Yeah. Go to the big casino we just built, but you can't vape.
Right. Well, you can't smoke in there. Right.
Oh, anywhere?
No, there's no smoking in the entire casino.
Did you ever go to the casino in upstate New York where there's no booze?
There's no booze. Yeah,
there's no booze.
Turning Stone is?
Yes, that's
Turning Stone.
Yeah.
It
sounds like a recovery house.
Right. Turning Stone Casino invented these the player cards.
Oh, that you buy, you get.
Everyone has a point thing now. They invented the card years ago because to get around the slot machine rule. They found out the definition of a slot machine was that you had to pull a handle and money was dispensed. So the way they got around it was they invented these cards. You'd put money on the card, put it in a slot, so there was no money being given out. And that's where the whole ticket thing started. And then they got rid of the sidearm, so you just pushed a button. And it was a technicality.
So some geniuses.
Some Native American geniuses
get together.
These people that we call savages found their way around.
They worked on Columbus Day, and they came up with this.
Right, we're all sleeping.
Yes.
Tony, you're a gambler, right?
People say to me, do you gamble? And I always say to them, look, I'm in my 60s. I have no real job. I don't really have insurance. I have 2 kids in college. I've been known to take a risk.
Well, I have a question now. These old slot machines, they were called
one-arm bandits.
So the new ones are like double amputees?
They're double amputee bandits.
So it's no arm bandits.
No arm bandit.
Got it.
That's a good point to bring up. Yeah. And all you need to do is be able to push a button, which you could do with your nose if you had.
But we
you
work
don't need arms at all.
We work casinos too, Tony, and
All the time.
they have tournaments. They have slot machine tournaments, and it blows my mind that people think like hitting a button. You're like, oh, good thing you're in the tournament.
The skill involved.
They think there's some kind of a skill involved in that. Like it's not just a random
people
thing.
line up.
They stop the rails.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They like do
rope
like a double
the place
thing.
off. You can't use these machines. We have a tournament going right.
Right. This is the thing with gambling in general, that people think that it's you have some control over it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You're smarter.
Well, you're smarter
than the casino.
because you pushed the button at the right time. Right.
You had a feeling going through your index finger.
I love the thing when you put your card in the machine now, it'll come up, gambling sense. If you have trouble with gambling, set yourself a limit. But it always pops up if you have trouble with gambling. You go, it's Tuesday afternoon at 3:00. Yeah. If I didn't have a problem with gambling, do you think I would be here? You're preaching to the choir, my friend.
Just getting the card registered is a problem.
Right.
So you're saying between certain hours you get rid of the if.
You have a problem.
It's like that Chris Rock bit when you go into the ATM at like 2:00 in the morning.
Right.
And he's like, the guys should just come up like, buy some rims. What are you doing?
What are you doing? Right. You know what you're there for. Right. Yeah. You have a problem. That's what it should read. Yeah. And
you
then
really want to hit the button again.
Right.
I'm sure you do.
Yeah. So, and Jim, we've known each other a long time.
We have many years.
You do all the regular clubs.
Yeah.
And all of that.
Clubs.
And you work cruise ships.
Yeah, I jump on the cruises.
Are you one of the guys that loves those or hates those?
You know what? It is what it is. I don't love it. I don't hate it either. You know what I mean? I got a wife and 3 children, so a couple of days away isn't all that bad.
Right.
But no one wants to hear this. I'm sick of the Caribbean.
Right.
And I love going to Alaska. Alaska's beautiful. I love it. You take the New England run and you go up to Maine or you go to Canada, but the Caribbean I'm done with. But it is. It's a way to make a living.
Wow. That's a life well lived right there. When you can straight face
People are
say,
just like, who is this jackass that hates the Caribbean?
When you can straight face say, I'm done with the Caribbean.
I hate puppies too. So how do you like that? Huh?
I remember one time being in Hawaii and being sick of beauty.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We're just driving around Hawaii, and I'd go to my wife. Well, look, more beauty.
Yeah, look at it. Sun setting, dolphins are jumping.
Yeah, jeez. How much are we going to put up with this? God.
Yeah, they're going to make a pill to stop that.
I'm sure they do have those where you pass out at some point. Kenny, what got you into stand-up?
I don't know. I was always on like stage. You know what I mean? Like I was in a band, and I was doing like spoken word poetry and shit. Like before, like I remember like watching like Colin Quinn's 8-Ball Jacket special, and being like, that's what. But I couldn't figure like, it is fucking comedy.
Right,
that's what I'm trying to do. It was like, I get now, and then because I'd be funny, but then like to write comedically is a different.
It's a whole different animal.
Yeah, I always wrote, but like to do that, I just didn't think
to turn your stories into stand up is a different skill, and I could probably take a educated guess, but what kind of music did you do when you were in a band?
Punk rock.
Really?
Yeah.
That's surprising.
The
to
tattoos
me.
with a hint, Tony?
That surprises me a little, not even a little.
No, you got the eye. I've always said that about you, Tony. You got the eye.
But you don't want to jump to conclusions either.
No, it could have.
He could have went. I'm in a Beethoven cover band. I don't know. That's the way things work.
We're rocking Bach.
Right.
Rap.
Yeah.
Hip hop. Could have.
Sure.
It's all words.
Yeah. Hip hop.
It's all wordplay.
Quickly, why this music is happening. Tell people how to get a hold of you.
Check me out at In the Gutter Podcast. That's a podcast. Me and Kenny Cap, Twitter, Facebook, Kenny Capozzi.
Beautiful. And Jim?
Just my website, jimwatt.com.
All right.
Got all my
Jim
stuff.
Watt. And you're going to listen to some messages, and then we're going to continue with this foolishness.
You're listening to Dueling Comedians. Now streaming on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and YouTube. This wicked pissa show will be right back.
Attention cigar smokers, or even friends of a cigar smoker. If you're looking to relax with a nice premium cigar or looking for a great gift for a cigar smoker, this is the gift that keeps on giving. Our friends at twoguyscigars.com have created the Cigar of the Month Club. For just $24.99 per month, you or your friend will receive 4 different premium handmade cigars every month, and shipping and handling is included. Go to twoguyscigars.com. That's the number 2, guyscigars.com, and go to the Cigar of the Month Club. You can stop anytime because there's no contract, but you won't because this is a tremendous deal for our listeners. Go to twoguyscigars.com. That's the number 2, guyscigars.com, and click the Cigar of the Month Club. At the same time, if you want to learn about the cigars you receive each month, you can smoke along with them on their own podcast called The Cigar Authority. Sit back, relax, and enjoy a nice premium cigar from our friends at twoguyscigars.com.
That ad for Two Guys Cigar Shop really makes me want to start smoking. Oh, wait, I already do. Forget I mentioned the whole thing.
Try.
So, you know what I didn't mention, and I should have at the top of the show, we're vying for the coveted Dueling Comedian belt.
I see the belt.
Someone's going to go home with this
The belt
fine
is
wrestling-esque belt and keep it for a year or so.
That was a special purchase, it looks like. Someone had to go somewhere.
Oh, no. You can win these at any fair.
Oh, it's a fair purchase.
Yeah,
all right.
You got to get the water in the clown's mouth, and then the balloon blows up, and boom.
That's good to know the origins of the belt.
We just saw it one day and go, hey, we should put a show around that belt. Let's
go to the Big E and win a belt.
That ought to happen very soon. So before we get into the duel, and we went over how that works, just tell some interesting fact about yourself, Ken, that people should know about you but might not.
I don't know if they don't know, but I run an open mic for like a year now at the same place at Ontane down at 31 India Street in Boston, Mondays at 10, Wednesdays at 8.
Really? 2 nights?
2 nights, same place.
Great.
Yeah, and it gets regulars in there that they're used to us now, but like because it's in a good location, that sometimes you get foot traffic.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's fun.
I always love those shows where you're foisting the show on the regulars. Like there's guys and they're just trying to have a beer and forget their lives. And
Guerrilla comedy.
Yeah. Listen to these yahoos, and they're going, this shit again.
They're watching a Bruins game and it gets turned off. We got some chuckles coming your way, people.
People start just telling dick and rape jokes.
We went through that a lot in the 80s where people were very unsuspecting about the show. There was just like there were pop-up shows before they were called pop-up shows.
Tony, in some ways, I feel as though this show was foisted on me. I just was sitting here minding my own fucking business, producing podcasts, and all of a sudden this happened.
It happened around you.
It did.
Yeah, and there's no stopping it now.
I can't
this
stop
juggernaut, this train just is on the track and can't be stopped.
Choo-choo.
Yeah. And Jim, where can people see you if you're on the land?
I'm, what do I got coming up? Giggles. I'm Giggles a lot. Laugh Boston. I think I got a date at Nick's Comedy Stop. All my dates are done on my website, Jim Watt. So I'm like you, Tony. I never know where I'm going. So
I don't
2
know.
days before.
Yeah. I look at my book and I go, I'm supposed to be there.
That's right. And then sometimes you call Tony and go, are you on your way to this show? And he goes, I didn't even know about it.
I one time was watching the World Series, and Chicago was in the World Series a couple years back. I'm on my couch watching the game, and I get a call, and they go, where are you? I go, on my couch watching the World Series. And they go, you're on stage in 20 minutes. And I go, where? And they go, Chicago. And I go, this is going to be a problem.
Our friend,
I had no idea I was booked in Chicago.
This was not my booking error, but our friend Mike Clark called me once. I was in my minivan with my children driving them to school, and he called. He goes, are you in Vegas right now? I said, no, Mike, I'm not. I'm driving my kids to school. He goes, you're supposed to be in Vegas this week. I go, it's going to be a tough double. I'll tell you that right now. See how quick the drop-off goes.
All right, more music. That means the duel's happening. I'm going to hit this button, and I think we'll start with you, Kenny.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to hit that button. You're going to do a joke. I'll try to figure out when it's over, and then hit the button again. Got it? All right.
So my mother's getting old. She worries me. She's not as old as you guys. Well, she's a little older, right? But she worries me because she doesn't go to the doctor.
Winning points right away, Kenny.
She worries me. She doesn't go to the doctor. She doesn't drink water, right? I'm like, Ma, you got to hydrate. At least drink some water. And she's just like, Kenny, why do I have to drink water when I put 7 ice cubes in every glass of wine? No doctor, Ma.
I have 3 children, and here is what I've learned from having children, and I will pass this advice on to any people thinking of having children. You're going to need to get yourself a paper shredder, because children produce a mass amount of artwork, and not all of it is refrigerator worthy, and it crushes their little heart if they see their artwork in the trash can. That's why you need to shred it at night when you go to bed. And make sure you get yourself an industrial shredder, because some of the stuff has macaroni glue to it.
I'm also a parent. I got a 9-year-old son, and I feel like being a parent is a lot like being a teenager. Like I still have to hide my drugs and my dildos.
I do not food shop for my family anymore. I'm done with it because Dad always buys the wrong thing. I came home last week with paper towels. Why? Because the list said buy paper towels. And I walked in. My wife goes, are those the paper towels you bought? And I said, this 36 rolls that says paper towels on it? Yeah, these are the paper towels I bought. And she goes, you've lived in this house for 20 years and you don't know what kind of paper towels we use? I said, I'll do you one better. I don't even know where we keep the paper towels. If they're not by the sink, I use my T-shirt to carry things around.
Wow, that was a long. That was an extended.
That felt needed too.
Yeah,
it really did.
That laugh had a tail on it.
All right, so my son, he's in elementary school, and he had his first, experience with the DARE program, like Officer Friendly.
Oh, yeah.
So he comes home, and he had some questions, right? He's like, hey, Dad, what's marijuana? And I was like, well, that's what the air fresheners in the house smell like, buddy.
As I get older, and Tony, you may agree with this is an easy job to have as you get older. And I was working one comedy club. They put you up in a condo right across the street. So one night the comedy club shuts down. I invite everyone back to the condo. Now it's late. It's 2, 3 in the morning. We're still drinking. Younger kid comes over and goes, hey, man, you got any pills we can take? I said, do I have any pills? He goes, yeah, you got any pills we can take? I said, I have fish oil.
So I can't leave my kid home alone for that long, but sometimes I'll run out to the corner store. So we live on the 2nd floor, and he heard me one day coming back in the house, and he was a little scared. And he's just like, Dad, is that you? And I'm like, yeah, it's me, dude. He's like, oh, yeah? Well, what's 10 times 10? I'm just like, kid, are you fucking retarded? And he goes, yeah, you're my dad.
Here's my biggest pet peeve with being a dad. Dads get shitty gifts and no one cares about it. You know what I got last Father's Day? 3 children and a wife. I got a nose hair trimmer. It's like my whole family was like, we love you. We just think you're disgusting. And when I took it out of the package, my oldest yells out, you can use it on your ears too, Dad. Thank you.
Wow, that was a good one. I don't know if I explained this, but Larry is the arbiter of who won. It was both very funny. I had a moment, before we get into this, let me just say this. I had a moment with my son when we were going cross country. My son's 21, and we took a trip across country to get him to school. And at one point, we were in the middle of nowhere, which is anywhere from New York to California, as far as I'm concerned. Yeah. Once you leave the coast, there's the fuckload of nothing. And
go see the country.
Yeah. You've seen, if you've driven like into Iowa, like for an hour, you've seen everything that Iowa has to offer. But at one point he goes, I guess I should ask you this. Do you have any fatherly advice? And I said to him, like, how long have you known me?
Why have you been holding back on this question?
I go, I don't know anything. I go, since you were born, I've been playing it by ear. I go, well, you weren't even supposed to be born. I'm not saying you were a mistake, but you were an accident.
That's the advice I'm throwing out at you, son. Good luck.
So he goes, well, thanks for the honesty. All right.
Tony, this could be the most difficult
It was
one.
a tough one, isn't it?
Yeah, because they were funny.
Are you saying
that's a knock on everyone else he's had on
Are you
this
saying
show.
that some of the shows have not had the quality of this?
Yeah.
No, this was a quality show.
I'm just stating an obvious fact.
Yeah.
If other people have a problem with it,
Yeah.
guess what? It's their fucking problem.
I've never seen up. He's
worked himself into a frenzy.
He's in a lather over there.
You can feel it in the voice.
We could just cancel the next show and have these two goes right to the final.
I got to tell you, this has been going on for a long time, and the pressure is getting to
I can hear it in your voice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's difficult.
I know. Take a breath.
All right.
Take a Xanax. Take a breath.
I'm ready to pronounce my judgment.
Okay.
I think, and this really comes down to one detail.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just
one word or a phrase that gets you.
A bad childhood memory.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I think the problem is when I was a child, it was different times.
Yes.
And I was just called a retard too many times.
Too many times.
So that particular one.
So that's a trigger. That's a trigger for you.
It comes off the table.
I see. So
although Kenny is very amusing,
yes,
he hurt me deeply. And Jim is the winner.
It could come down to that, Kenny. I'm sorry. Jim Colliton, you're moving on to the finals.
Most of my career has been based on using one less retard in my punchlines. And people always said, cut up on the retards. It's because you're going to get somewhere. And here I am.
Yeah, there you have it. All right. That was one of our best episodes of Dueling Comedians.
Wonderful.
It was great. Kenny, you were terrific.
Tony, thank you so
very
much.
Jim,
Tony,
I'll see you in the semis.
All right.
And you keep listening to Dueling Comedians on the 21 Studio Network podcast, YouTube, wherever podcasts are had. And I'm going to be here as long as I have nothing else to do.
The views and opinions expressed by the hosts, guests, or callers of this program do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the Studio 21 Podcast Café, the United Podcast Network,